Hi, these are your short and sweet January 2013 videos, and I want to tell you how to get the most of the astrology trends for the future month for January 2013. Always make sure you check at least your ascendant sign, and for the full prognosis, check this ascendant, moon, and sun sign. Most people always check their sun sign only, not realizing that actually it's not the most astrologically correct one. The most astrologically correct and personal sign is always the ascendant, which is determined by the exact time of your birth, the minute, the hour. And then comes the moon sign, which especially, particularly women, answer much more. For instance, last month I've experienced the prediction and the trends much more of my moon sign. Women, the moon is a female planet, and a lot of women connect a lot to their moon sign prediction. And if you don't know what your ascendant sign or moon sign astrologically are, you can go to my website astrolada.com, where I have a birth chart calculator. You need to know the time of your birth, or at least approximately, to find out those two signs and their degrees. Write them down and make sure, if you don't have time to listen to the whole prediction for the moon, sun, and ascendant sign, then at least listen to the whole prediction for the ascendant sign always, and then to the second part of the moon and the sun prediction when I mentioned particular degrees of the moon, of the moon, the ascendant, or when I mentioned particular days of birth which correspond to the sun position. If you hear your exact day of birth or position of the ascendant of the moon, or of the moon, like say 20 degrees Leo or something, if you hear these degrees mentioned, then you will definitely feel what is happening to you, what I'm talking about this month, because these are based on transit, and transits never fail. They're very specific. Even if the overall prognosis, the first part of the prediction of your sign, is not, you don't identify so much with, if you hear your exact degree of the ascendant or the moon or the day of the birth, you will definitely identify with the influences that I'm talking about during this period. So please, if you have more specific questions which those videos cannot answer, then you're welcome to contact one of my psychics or astrologers, which I've selected from all over the world for you, which are fantastic, carefully selected, and they can give you sweet and short answers for 10 to 15 minutes. You can have readings with them, or even shorter. So there is an answer for everything you're looking for here. Hi Taurus, this is your prediction for anyone who has their ascendant, moon, or sun in Taurus for January 2013. And first, Happy New Year. And what is happening this month? You're having very strongly activated the ninth house in your horoscope, which is, first of all, on the mundane level, it's to do with travel. So it's a great time for some of you to travel to different cultures, to interact with cultures or with foreigners, which expand your horizons. Ninth house is about expanding your mind, is about opening your mind so you see a bigger perspective, so you can embrace a bigger perspective into your reality. And when your consciousness is somehow widened, you're much more optimistic. You start to see the bigger picture. You can make plans for the future because you have a stronger intuition and stronger understanding of the whole situation. So it's a great time for planning ahead for the future. It's a great time to also seek advice, because the people who come to your life now will give you a very wise and sound advice. The energies that you attract in your life, a ninth house, which is teacher-like, which is wisdom, which is philosophical, which will help you somehow. So great time for planning, great time for interacting with others to give you a different perspective. Take heed of the ideas that come to you right now, because they can be more inspirational, more divinely inspired, that can put you on the right path of your for your future, on the right track of what you're supposed to do for the future. And it's great time for traveling, as I said, and meeting foreigners or people from different cultural backgrounds as well, because this can be a source of some growth for you and source of ideas and inspiration. Also for foreign trade, those of you who are in that. Ninth house is also the house of studying, high education. So great time for some of you might get excited about studying, learning something new, enrolling on a course. Others might just have a more intense period at their university or their school, and others just will have their mind more awakened for the mysteries of the world, for the bigger questions in life, whether it's politics, law, more philosophical themes, or even spirituality, because ninth house rules spirituality. spirituality. So some of you might be feeling like reading more, associating with such more high-minded people. Ninth house is the house of the arts and culture, so it's a period when you should be much more artistically inclined and feeling more, even just going to the cinema or just anything which can expand your mind, which can bring light into your soul, which can make you feel connected and give you better focus about, better understanding about life, so to speak, or culturally somehow satisfy your cultural needs. So it's a good period for any of those activities. Studying, learning, spirituality, art, culture, all those high-minded, or even traveling to expand your mind, so great time for holidays, but not drinking holidays which are more high-minded, to see something, to learn something new. And Mars is activating your 10th house this month, which is Mars is the planet of which very much energizes a house that is passing through, and it passes through one house once in 2 years. So it's once in 2 years opportunity for you to get very activated about your career, especially if your ascendant is in Taurus, you might feel it stronger. For the moon and the sun as well, to a lesser degree, but your career gets much more active, much more energized, busy. Maybe you might have to put a lot of energy, some new work projects, or some of you might even get a chance to start a new job. Well, not too many, but there is a possibility with Mars activating the 10th house. There is more desire to go and get up and get things done. Mars gives you this energy. So some projects that you've been postponing or that you haven't had the courage to do, Mars will give you the courage to get it started, even if it's not something to do with your career, which is something to do with your worldly responsibilities and duties, or anything which you wanted to do, something great to leave behind you. Mars can give you now the courage to get it started, or to put more effort into it, to solve, to tackle the problems to do with any such projects that you're working on. And Mars is a bit of a stressful and aggressive planet, so some of you might have some frictions with authority figures, which is the 10th house, like parents, for the younger ones of you, or bosses, or anyone who is above you, some institutions, governments, but I'm sure it can be resolved wonderfully, so don't worry, it's only for a month, couple of months, this influence. So a lot of focus on career, on studying as well, on worldly activities, leaving a mark behind in the world. This is the 10th house. And just quite the beautiful houses are activated for you, Taurus. The 9th and the 10th house are very powerful, strong houses in astrology. They're the top of the horoscope. They're visible, so you're active in the world right now, out and about, especially if your ascendant is in Taurus, you will feel it. So you're out, visible, you're more extroverted than introverted right now. You want to get things done, to be, to make things happen right now. And now specific predictions for those of you who have their ascendant or moon at 9, 10, 11 degrees in Taurus, plus minus 1 or 2 degrees, say 7, 8 degrees of Taurus, you might feel it, or 12 degrees of Taurus as well can feel it. Or if you're born on the 30th of April or 1st or 2nd of May, give or take a day or two, maybe 29th of April or maybe the 3rd of May as well, you're having Saturn influence. And as I always repeat, Saturn is a planet of testing. It likes to test how loyal we are to a project, how loyal we are to anything, how much perseverance we have. So during this period, if you want to be successful in anything you do, you have to be very much humble. You have to work very hard. You cannot take any shortcuts to getting to the success. You have to do it step by step. Usually success gets delayed when Saturn is around. You might feel a bit more frustrated than normal, but your perseverance and patience is being tested, or is being created in you through those tests that Saturn brings. And it requires maturity and consistency and hard work for you, and practicality. Saturn, anything which is idealistic or over the top or unrealistic, Saturn will trim your wings there, whatever it's difficult to fulfill. Saturn wants to give you a reality check so you can be more responsible, more grown up, more mature about those deeds, about those behaviors in your life. So Saturn requires maturity, consistency, seriousness, and don't get too depressed, because Saturn can really bring your energy down and make you feel hard on yourself or too critical. Either you on yourself or outside influences being too critical and too hard on you, pushing you. As long as you stay humble, keep your head down, and work hard, you will pass through it with flying colors. So thank you so much, Taurus, and please give us feedback.